Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Pro Dota commentary done by Luminous. Today we'll be bringing you guys Barney Face versus the Art of War, some interesting team names, some unknown team names. But before I get into the teams and the players and heroes, let's quickly introduce my co-caster for today. His name is Kingdom, and let Kingdom come. What's up, my friend?
How's it going?
I'm doing fine. You sound absolutely energetic about this game right now.
I am, even if my voice doesn't betray my true emotions. I'm really excited about this game. I've been watching these teams come through the tournament so far. This is it okay if I introduce the tournament, or would you like to say that for yourself?
Go ahead. You know about this tournament more than I do.
All right, so I've been watching this tournament as it progresses. This is the Alienware Arena Invitational tournament. It's at the end of a ladder season. Art of Warfare is the #1 team from that ladder. Barney faces #8. They're meeting right now in the quarterfinals. This is Game 3 of a best-of-3 match, and both of the two games before this were pretty freaking awesome, and I heard this game was one of the most epic in the whole tournament, so I'm really looking forward to it, especially just looking at the picks that have already been made.
Yeah, I mean, some interesting heroes that are being made so far, but before we get into that, Kingdom, tell us a little bit about yourself. Nami have heard of you, I imagine, and this is the first time that you're casting my channel, so here's your spotlight. Say whatever the hell you want. You can flame me, you can flame whoever you want.
Alright, my 15 seconds of fame, here we go. I've kind of only recently started out casting. I'm kind of trying to focus on the North American scene, kind of not like the top level pros, but more of the semi-pros, people who are just starting to come together as teams, lower level tournaments like this one. I've been casting some MLG stuff too, some in-house leagues. So a lot of fun stuff like that. I get to hang out with a bunch of the players who play on these teams, and it's really cool because I get to know a lot of people and it's fun.
Yeah, a lot of my viewers been asking, how do you actually start as a team to actually look towards the pros? And well, I think Kingdom's a channel that you could check out in terms of what are the games that you might be facing, what are the strategies that you might be facing. But I think we could leave that for another discussion. So let's actually unpause the replay in 3, 2, 1, go. 546, 547, 548. Make sure we're all synced up, and we are good to go. So what are these heroes that we're seeing? We've seen some Clinks in the past. We've seen some Lifestealer in the past. The Lifestealer mostly as a counter to defend, and we've definitely seen things like Magnus and Undying. But Kunkka is a hero that we haven't seen too often.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised also by the pick. I haven't seen Barneyface run in the past, but I mean, it does, in theory, it does pretty well against Lifestealer, who's typically harder to bring down. He's got the sword slash that will do a lot of pure damage through Lifestealer's normal tankiness, and he's kind of hard to bring down. Lifestealer really excels at holding people in place and beating them, and Kunkka's kind of hard to catch because he typically builds the Shadow Blade, so
yeah, kind of using mobility to the advantage. Don't forget the Kunkka Bolt. Coco Rum is a pseudo-defensive spell in the same right. It does increase your movement speed as well as give him your innate tankiness. But I'm a little bit worried about Kunkka's ability to actually land his spells, because normally when you run a Kunkka, you see things like Shadow Demon, you see things like, a good Vengeful Spirit, like a good lead stunner. We don't see any of that here. And Kunkka, so, I mean, he does have a built-in X, but, you don't really want to at least put your early points, early skill points in that X, as you have Torn and Tidebringer to max out. So perhaps this last pick as a support most likely will be some of that. But also with that said, we do see Kunkka probably is going to go into this tri-lane. Keeper of the Light, Kunkka, and Undying is a sort of decent tri-lane. Has a lot of harassment from Decay as well as Tidebringer. And Shadow Demon is somewhat stolen coming from the Art of Warfare. The Dire team has massive disable, both in single target and AoE. So I feel like in terms of draft so far, I'm more on their side.
The Lifestealer is also a hero that Art of Warfare has won in the past. So there's your lockdown, by the way, on the Shadow Shaman. Like as much lockdown as you can fit into a single hero. But the Art of Warfare, they really like that Lifestealer. I've seen them run it in a couple games prior to this, and because their player is a scary Lifestealer. So
is he gonna go for a very standard skill build, an item build, or does he do something kind of out of the ordinary? Or is he gonna get like a Blink Dagger Lifestealer or something crazy like that?
In the game I saw him prior to this one, he was wow. Okay.
Perhaps this is the reason why we're casting this particular replay. But yeah, let's go back to your point about the Lifestealer.
He wasn't. It wasn't anything particularly out of the ordinary. Just Midas armlets into. I think he went AC that game, but it was against Sven, so I think that's the smartest lineup. The most interesting thing was that he was not decided not to jungle. He was actually laning in a defensive triline, which I don't typically see a lot on lifestealers. Typically, they're run in conjunction with not as a main carry with other like semi carries. Like I've seen them a lot in like a 2-2-1 with another carry in a dual mid roll. At any rate, I guess it's time to introduce the teams, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're going to see the fake Ferrari on 599 on the mid lane Magnus, and possibly a Shadow Demon dual laning with him, Caillou playing that Shadow Demon. Top lane, we're going to see Wagwan Cuz on the Lifestealer, like I mentioned before, and we're going to see Shorty Silly on the Hero, who's also supporting, and is this a long? Okay, Icon is going to be playing a long lane Soul Omni-Knight.
And it seems like he is working towards that Soul Ring as obviously a very, very powerful item for his, I guess, mana issues. But is he ever going to get there? He is going to be facing against a Solo Clinks. Solo Clinks is not exactly the best in terms of lane control, but does have a lot of physical damage and harassment power. That's being handled by Thrall. That seems like a French/German term, and I'm sure I'm getting that one wrong. NYN's going to be going in the mid lane here with Kunkka. Seems like it's going to be dual lane mid. Pattaya is going to be handling the Shadow Shaman on support duty, and that's earlier when I talked about needing a Shackle, or in this case a Hex, to set up a spell here, and we'll see how well that actually works out. And on top lane here, it's going to be just a Grano dual lane here. Table Salt is going to be playing the Undying, and then last but not least, is that Robo? Noble?
Robo, I think.
Robo. I can't actually see because I'm Asian and my eyesight's poor. Alright, Robo. And he's moving. Blue text and moving ground is not good. Not a good combo. Alright, so how do you think this long lane is going to actually work out here between the Omni Knight and the... Well, actually, is it a solo? No, it's going to be offensive tri-lane now.
Yeah, it's rotated. I believe, the Lifestealer has gone down to an offensive tri-lane against Clinks, where I think he will be able to do pretty well. Clinks is going to get forced back. He's not going to get the farm he needs to really do the late game, mid game DPS that he needs to. I don't know. Maybe not. We're not really seeing a tri lane here.
Yeah, we see the rotation going to the mid lane here simply because they saw the mid lane, and really, I mean, Magnus could definitely handle the situation, although, with that said, there is a lot of chainstun lockdown, even enough knockdown to prevent him to use skewers, so perhaps that's why they have moved Shadow Demon, usually a very powerful early game defensive hero. If you see Magnus being jumped upon, well, you could just defensive disrupt.
Or even better, you can disrupt someone while Magnus gets into position to skewer them backwards.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it also works very well offensively. I like it. So I think Omni Knight will also be able to handle the top lane against Dirge and Coddle pretty well. That dual lane kind of depends on a more like countering aggression.
Wow.
And
look at the TP. They're like, you know what? We're not going to try this lane. In fact, we're going to go for some offensive on the bot lane. It seems like Frow's going to TP down as well. So that's immediately 135 times 3 down the drain. Do you think this is worth the lane switch?
I don't know. I mean, it's what they wanted, obviously. They expected Lifestealer to safe lane just like you and I did. And so they really wanted to pit that Undying against the Lifestealer. Lifestealer's walking away out of lane again. Like, what is this shenanigans?
Meanwhile, I'm back in the mid lane here. Lau harass going here and there, and Kalau is going to miss that Soul Catcher. Very low is his HP. Pattaya in a little bit of trouble as well. Shockwave, no mana for that. Everybody's just so low. And oh, the Torrent does cancel the salve. Very nicely done. But First Blood gets picking up on a different lane. No, Lifestealer comes out, gets a kill on Kunkka. Sorry for missing out on camera, but there is a slow on Pattaya. Skewer up on the high ground, and the right click. He wants to deny himself with a Shockwave. Going to steal the kill. 2 for nothing. The favorite Torrent is not going to miss there. So a lot of action, and looks like we're going to have yet another lane switch as Lifestealer is on his journey up top.
I think it was kind of fortunate. Lifestealer just happened to be walking to top lane because I guess he really, really doesn't want to lane against the Undying. And just right as the Radiant went in, he was just walking through the river, so it just really worked out in Art of War's favor there.
That's some, as we say, Sun Tzu shit right there, you know? Making sure that you're at the right place at the right time. And we're going to see Icon most likely TPing around on the bot lane once he makes it to a Sleeper Shot, or maybe he's going to wait for the Soul Ring, as the Soul Ring is still very, very important. In this awkward laning situation, when we see multiple lane switches, you gotta favor, well, both teams has been lane switching right now, but of course in the mid-game engagement, you gotta favor how it went for the Dire, as they picked up 2 free kills.
Yeah, definitely. That's never a bad thing. No, Undying's going to kind of get like I said earlier, he's just going to get a lot of room against this Clinks to farm up. And that's really what I think the Dire are depending on, is this Undying getting a lot of damage really quickly. He's already up to 1,000 gold. He'll be getting probably like a 5-minute Hand of Midas to just accelerate his farm.
Who's getting a Hand of Midas? 5 minutes?
I'm assuming Undying is going to get one. It's
Lifestealer. Right?
Makes Lifestealer.
Okay. I was checking Undying's skill. I was like, I don't think he has that 1,000. It looks like we have a little bit more action on the mid lane here. A little bit of level 1 pulling, which has been increasingly a trend nowadays, at least in the mid lane for the Radiant. Yeah, that Lifestealer is farming away big time. One thing I'm surprising to see is that he's actually putting more points into feats. Generally, when we see Lifestealer in these pro games, they love to max Rage by 7 simply because it's just a very, very powerful spell. You imagine you're going to be facing a lot of nukes coming your way, and that's a really important spell to have. Do they have detection? That's a question. They do actually see him somehow, the detection, hiding behind BF flag. That's the ninja ward if I've seen one.
That is a heck of a ninja ward, and that's going to be 3 kills, 2 and 1 of them already on the Lifestealer with 2 assists, so he's getting tons of gold. I think he has the gold he needs for Hand of Midas already, or at least very, very soon, so he's going to be getting out of control pretty quickly here.
Yeah. So we haven't really talked too much, a little bit initiation back in the mid lane here. Skewer backwards. Oh no, he missed it. I don't think he could have pushed him into Tower Ranger either, but he could have got a lot more physical harass here and there. And then Shockwave into the face of MYN. What do you think about the ability of having a repel for a long duration and then having 6-second rage? There is a lot of magical immunity on the Dire side. Is that going to be a big issue here for heroes like, Shadow Shaman or, Keeper of the Light that really relies on their magical disables?
Yeah, I think that's really one of the reasons why Omni is such a good pick, but at the moment we're seeing an engagement on the mid lane. Magnus is going to skewer out, barely surviving, and Soulcatcher is Kunkka, so he's got to be careful about how far he chases.
Ooh, that decay really sealed the deal. It looks like Table Soul wants a little bit more action. Does he have a magic wand? It's just been used, but Tyre taking a lot of damage while Torrent's going to miss. The horse is coming from the backline, not going to hit too much, and now Skewer or Shockwave's going to be cooling down. One more Shockwave is going to get the kill. There's a nice Hex as they have more mana, but Tyre's out of it. Shockwave, turn around Shockwave, that's a free kill. No, he's on the run. Does have Skewer. There's Shockwave, is missed cleanly, but here comes the Nyx. Nyx doing so much. The Shockwave with the chaos, nicely played, but we do have the Omni Knight coming in as well. Another Torrent being missed, man. A lot of missed Torrent here and there, a lot of missed spells overall. They want to chase a little bit more out of mana. It's like Kunkka, but no, they're not going to be able to find a spell. So just a lot of back and forth action. Lifestealer does have that 2k, but is refusing to buy the Midas.
Yeah, I guess he just hasn't spent it yet. I mean, I don't know what else he could be rushing. I don't think there's really anything else that he needs early game that he's saving up for. I mean, what he rushes him Lifestealer other than Midas? I mean, I guess
there's something to be said if you get a very, very quick armlet, but I mean, if you're going for something like armlet, you want treads first, because that's a very valuable part of your killing thing. If he's going for something crazy like Radiance Lifestealer, I'm gonna lose it here, because I mean, that's something I've never seen in my life before.
Yeah, the fact that he would get it, like, he would get a relic at like 10 minutes is also insane.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. He's definitely not going for Midas. There's no way you get a 5-minute Midas gold and not actually purchase it. So we'll have to wait and see. This is kind of a big investment as well. So he's gonna go right on Table. So where's the heal coming in? No heal just yet. The heal, but I'm not too sure whether it hit or not. Table. So on the run here, but the zombies are now starting to stack up. They gotta be running back as the zombie will apply a lot of slow. Wagwan, gotta be careful. The horse is coming in, and I think he's actually gonna go down here. The repel not gonna do too much, and disconnects and pauses coming in here. Game crashed.
Yeah, there you go. That was really an inopportune time for a pause, but he was out of mana for rage, wasn't able to get away there, and that's really unfortunate. I guess he probably will go back to base and get something now. I'm hoping he buys an item. I mean, gold doesn't do very much sitting in your inventory, you know?
Yeah, that's not exactly a bank, as you don't actually get interest on your book. I'm actually AX baiting through this pause, and I will urge you to do so. So I'll give you the final time when we're unpausing.
Yep.
Bad computer. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to play Dota with a wooden computer. How do you feel the game is going so far when we're 7 minutes in? The Dire seems to have a fairly decent EXP lead, but the goal lead is more in the favor of the Radiant, farming a little bit better, I imagine.
Yeah, I think they do have a bit of a last hitting. Klink's, of course, last hitting like a pro up here, has really been left alone for the majority of the game because of all the other lane switching going on around him. And I think, I don't know, I can't really decide who Farm favors more. Magnus and Lifestealer are both very good late game heroes, but then again, so are Klinks and Kunkka, so...
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I do have the game, I'm pausing in about 23:02. This is the replay time. So once you get there, let me know.
Right.
We can pause. 23:02. I'm pausing in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah.
Yep.
Do apologize for the technical difficulty, but this is a replay, so we could skip through the pause. Looks like we're gonna have a developed chase on the bot lane here. Icons should be fine. Fairly tanky as a hero. Finally has a Soul Ring finish. Soul Ring boots, so very important. I think he's gonna go into Arcane boots, fairly standard as well. Back in the mid lane, the skewer backwards here against the Kunkka. The slow being applied here as well. Where's the Torrent? Torrent is gonna hit this time here, and Batara coming around with the Hex, but really can't do too much by himself. This mid lane has had a lot of action. And in my opinion, I think that favors a little bit more on the die, right? Magnus doesn't really need as much farm as Kunkka does, simply because reverse polarity just does a lot in his own right. And Kunkka really needs a lot of damage. But meanwhile, Torrent does hit. Do we have the Shackle? There's another Hex. Where is... Wow, he's actually doesn't have any nukes. I haven't seen the skill build before, and to be honest, I can't actually advocate it.
Yeah, if he had a nuke there, he definitely would have gotten a kill, and now he's going to go down to the Jakiro as well, but here's a Torrent on 2. And Undying coming in the back there. Jakir is going to fall to the Keeper of the Light Blast, and now it's Shadow Demon running away. He's got to be careful with the Sword Splash.
Man, very, very well played here from both sides, getting kills in there. Yeah, the reason that you generally want to max your nuke on Shadow Shaman, despite being playing support, is that really, just when your spells alone, like Shackle and Hex, you don't do any damage. You really need your nuke to actually make your enemy run away. Meanwhile, though, Klinks is actually getting is out TPSing Nyx at this particular junction of the game, as he's forcing Nyx to go into his infesting into a creep. He finally has a face boot finish, so whatever surprise that he had for us, we're not going to see it.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, but I think Klinks is very good against Lifestealer early game. Late game, I'm going to probably put it in favor of the Lifestealer because I'm expecting him to probably build something like a Basher. And then Magic Community is going to prevent a lot of Klink's DPS from the Searing Arrows. But right now, I think Klinks has the advantage. So
Tombstone's going to get dropped on the mid lane here as Table, so charging forward, Zombie being starting to build up. Man, this Tombstone as well as Illuminate is just really putting a big number, but there's a Purge on Pataya. Pataya in a little bit of trouble, and he is going to go down, but here's a huge bolt coming their way. Fake Ferrari takes a dive, and he's going to go down, and again, more Zombie really going on Kalo, but here comes the Lifestealer with the open wounds going against the Kunkka. Kunkka is getting some big damage. The help of Twin Head Dragon to get one kill. Nice repel. They're going to keep on chasing. They really need another Ice Path to hit, though. Cooling down just 2 seconds. Where's the Ice Path? Who do you want? Table Cell or Keeper? I think, oh no, he missed cleanly, and now he does not have more mana. Oh, I gotta say, that was a huge misplay here. And in fact, they're still chasing. The Horse is gonna come in, and that's gonna be a big damage. Now the return chases. They have Decay mana. Does not have it right now. It does have 1 Decay left. Table Cell does drop that Decay. One more right click. It's gonna seal the deal, but the Heal Bomb coming in. Wagan is doing so much damage. Double damage gets stolen here, but he's gonna die to one more poison stack here from the Shadow Demon. And now again, but everybody's out of mana. I wish somebody's got some Arcane boots. Meanwhile, you do see Keeper of Light on the run. He does have the breach speed, but really running quicker is the Lifestealer with phase boots, something that we don't see too often either. He could just rage and phase right into for massive damage. Still not going in. Still gotta rage out. No, he gets Hex up. Gotta get Shackle up as well. Nourish the Shackle. There's a Shackle. Torrent. Is there gonna be Torrent? There's a huge Horse coming in, and oh, he's on the run. He does have Infest, though. I do believe he should run to Infest, but a Torrent backstab. That's some surprise bus X for you right there.
That's it right there. It's Kunkka did some excellent rotation there. I really think Lifestealer way overstayed his welcome there, bottom lane, chased way further than he needed to. And in all honesty, a Keeper of the Light payoff is not that important. It's a support hero.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's some support heroes that you want to make sure that they don't, get into the level 11 or something like that. But Keeper of Light is not really one hero that you really care too much. He's gonna just fire off Illuminate all day long, which it's annoying, but exactly not the end of the world. Table Saw again trying to dive. The Radiant team is playing very, very aggressive, and frankly, they have the lineup to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what Dirge does. Like Dirge does aggression. It's in his soul, man. That's all that happens. It's gonna get disrupted. The Ice Path is gonna follow. Nope, never mind. Ice Path is not gonna follow up. There's a Macro Pyre on top of everybody in the middle lane. Kunkka's charging in with the boat. He might hit this boat on a couple. No, just Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon will follow it. Here comes Lifestealer. Here's a Guardian Angel, but huge reverse polarity on top of absolutely everyone. Magnus is going to go ahead and drop Keeper for the light. Looks like Shadow Shaman's the second to fall. Clinks falls as well, and that makes Dirge and Kunkka the only survivors. Kunkka probably not long for life.
Well, I mean, he's still outrunning just about everybody. He does only simply have a boost of speed. Nice shockwave to get the kill here. Oh, Ferrari taking some damage, but fake Ferrari gets healed up on Table Salt. It's going to have the table turn against him. There's a, oh, he's trying to 1v4 with the K. Unfortunately, just not enough HP. Didn't have the tomb, didn't have the heal ready up. I think you might be slightly ahead of me, or behind me. 12, 15, 16 is the in-game time, 17, 18. Making sure we're synced up, but man, that's what Magnus does. Really have a lot of AoE, and I think that's really the big issue of the Radiant lineup. They just don't have disables, or at least enough of it. I mean, there's some cute ones coming in from the Shadow Shaman, but they're mostly single target, and you really put a lot of pressure in Kunkka landing themselves. And again, he's got no setup. So I think that's why these team fights, as the game goes on longer and longer, that the Dire team's gonna have the advantage.
I think I am a little bit behind you.
I'm at 1250, 1251, 1252. This is the in-game time.
Alright. Yeah, I'm at 1251 right now. So.
Alright, 6 second forward here. Meanwhile, Tombstone gets dropped down on the mid lane. Where is a Hex? No Hex just yet, but Tire a little bit late, but does make it up with a perfect War Trap here. That was a beautiful play. Can they actually transition for a tier 1 push? They don't have the Tombstone or the wards up. But it should be for free. Are you back with me here as we are seeing a little bit more tower diving? 13, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yep, I'm back up with you. 22, 24, 25.
Yep, so earlier I was talking about the lack of teamfight potential on the Radiant side. What do you feel about that? Well,
I mean, they do have, like, Kunkka, which is a pretty good AoE spell. They've got the wards for damage. They've got Keeper of the Light Blast, which is a lot. But most of their damage, in Kunkka Splash as well, you always have to keep that in mind. He is going for, looks like he's going for a Splash build. He's a little behind right now. Only 33 last hits. He'll get there. But they do lack an AoE disable, because the only thing they have is the boat, and that's not incredibly reliable. And the Dirge slow is the only other thing they have. Beyond that, they're most single target damage. And if they get BKBs and they get...
top lane, Tombstone's gonna get dropped on top of everybody, but reverse! It's just a little bit better in terms of team fight. Skewers him right back in the tower, and the tower helping out against Table Salt. Man, another team fight turning their way. They were trying to get something crazy, something set up, but again, Magnus just raining on their party.
Yeah, that reverse polarity is easily one of the strongest teamfight spells in the game. And I have to echo, I think, question, I forget what game it was. You were casting some with Magnus, and you were like, why don't people play this hero in the metagame? And, well, there's your answer.
Well, there's an answer that they do play them now, because this hero is simply insane. And again, Magnus now with a Blink Dagger pickup, keep in mind that as you're leveling up his ultimate, the cooldown gets better and better. And against a team that's really heavily reliant on Undying, as Undying now, blink in, skewer backward. Undying, though, does take a lot of punishment. Another great War Trap. We're going to have to see a self-disruption, or he's dead. He's just really... Oh, he's going to try and pop his way out. He's not really going to do so, though. Yeah, he's going to get just picked up. Meanwhile, any chasing torrents here coming from a Kunkka. No, that's going to be it. The torrent is not going to hit. And meanwhile, MYN going to get burst down here by the Lifestealer. Again, most of these guys playing very aggressive. And here we go. More aggression being... The horse is being charged up right now. Reverse polarity, of course, not up just yet. They want to focus on the tomb. Meanwhile, Nyx just picks off Shadow Shaman. And, of course, we do see Klings picking off the Magnetar as well. And we do... Yeah, looks like the Omni Knight does also get picked off. We're just seeing back and forth Haymaker being thrown against each other. And the Radiant takes this
War of Attrition. War of Attrition, no holds barred. And now Klings is going to go straight in on Lifestealer, but Lifestealer turns around and starts lifestealing. Looks like he, will get the pick off there on Klings. And now Table Salt's in trouble again. And a self-disruption on the Disruptor will keep him alive for a little bit of time. Now Undying will pick that one off, but he'll have to run away now as Magnus and Lifestealer are chasing him.
They need another open wound, but he doesn't really have any more mana. Keeper of Light doesn't have too much either. Here's a... Oh, no, Batar comes in, but again, how many reverse has this guy dropped? 3-man reverse non-stop. Great follow-up here from the Twin Head Dragon. Another goes down. The Big Bow coming your way here. Gon is taking some big damage, but his Omelet toggling like a boss right now. Illuminate comes in as well. The Ice Path will hit, and I do believe Blue's going to be going down. This is just a back-and-forth chase. The Torrent will hit, but again, Nyx is popping back out. Arcane Boots was huge for them right there. Who had Arcane Boots? Oh, it was the Magnus. It really gave the Nyx a second barrage spells that he needed to keep on chasing.
Yeah, wow, holy crap, we've already got, it's 60 minutes into the game, and we've already got 36 kills? So tons of action,
34.
and I really think this 34. I can't
found
count.
one more person with worse math than I have. But yes, back to your point.
But I think this aggression is going to. I don't know. I really can't decide who it favors more. Both teams have ganking heavy lineups who have carries who really need a lot of kills to get rolling. Lifestealer, a snowball hero, Klink's a snowball hero, Kunk a snowball hero. And all these heroes are getting kills, but I'm not entirely sure at the end, if we ever make it to like 45 to 50 minutes, who is going to have the advantage?
Well, let's actually check out on some of the key items. Obviously, right now, I feel like the item is in the advantage of the Dire, and soon the Blink Dagger has picked up. These are more of the bigger core items, as well as Armlet. Mech's almost being finished on Omni Knight, so their team fight's only going to get better. Back in the bot lane here, looks like a solo kill being taken here by Frawl, and he done it without actually having Orchid finish. And of course, the double ability staff will means that Orchid's going to be done very soon, and once it's done, I think that might be enough to really turn the tides of the team fight. If you ever get a good silence on, let's say, Omni Knight or Twin Head Dragon, you really actually take a lot of team fight away from the Dire. Of course, you still got to be careful of that reverse polarity, though, as he is just actually landing them too easily.
Yeah, I think the Radiant are having a little bit of trouble in terms of clumping up there. It's not really that. I don't think Magnus is done. It's not like it's been surprise blink. It's just during team fights, these guys have been pretty clumped up, and not getting the separation you need to counter a Magnus. But then if you split up, you get picked off by a Lifestealer. There's a huge boat on mid lane, gonna hit 2, but looks like Luminous repelled himself in time to dodge it. Kunkka will kill on the Shadow Demon. Though here comes another reverse polarity, only hitting 1, but it is an important one, killing off Keeper of the Light. Then Kunkka finishes Shakira, so kills going back and forth both ways right now. I'm not sure which team is really getting ahead here.
Well, Table Salt's on the run, so it seems like the Dire has been winning that team fight. A Blink Dagger forward here from 599. One more Skewer, one more Shockwave, anything. He's trying to bottle his way up. And look at the play here from Table Salt. Turns around, use the tower and the decay damage. Gonna get the kill. Meanwhile, though, Batire fighting the way. There's some creep helping out. More importantly, there's Frau coming in with the damage output, getting the kill. This is just a big pick-off. And there's just kills happening everywhere. And this is why this is such a difficult game to cast. Simply because just too much action, there's a very little structural damage, and it's very hard to actually say who's actually ahead. But the Go chart says the game is completely even. The EXP chart favors the Dire just by a tiny bit. But again, with the item pickup here of Orchid, Frowl's gonna start doing some big lifting here for his team.
Well, unfortunately, he's standing right over a Sentry Ward, so he's not that surprising. But I mean, it's the best he can do. I think the Orchid actually is a very important item, because a lot of the spells are really important on the Dire team, especially some that you might not expect. Like, it's obvious that on the night spells are important, but if you can get a silence off on like the Shadow Demon to prevent the defensive disruption,
sure, yeah.
on Jakiro to prevent the Macro Pyre, or even on the Nakes to prevent his going magic immune, it's going to really turn the tide in a team fight that way. And Orchid has a really low cooldown, so it's definitely a very effective item, and definitely the right choice. I mean, although I don't really know what else you would go on a Klinks.
I mean, back in the old days, and I'm talking about 3-4 years ago, you see like one Oblivion staff first for the mono region, and then you go back into MKB, and then you finish the Orchid. But Orchid's always been part of the equation ever since it was introduced in the item here. And this is one thing that the Dire team gotta be watch out for. You never push against an invisible hero without Sentry Ward being down, especially one that's so destructive as Frawl. And then there you go, immediate Sentry Ward behind them. And good thing that Klinks ran out as quickly as he did, or he would have got easily picked off.
So it looks like these teams are pretty content to trade right now. Radiant headed up towards the top two, and it looks like Dire are either going to rotate bottom and pick up that tier 1, maybe help out this Lifestealer against the Klinks.
I'm not sure what I like this decision to rotate. They're wasting a lot of time doing so, and because Batire is a Shadow Shaman, he is dropping wards, and these wards are dealing a significant number. And I think they could even defend this tier 1 if they all have teleport scroll. Quickly check. Seems like everybody does, and Undying has a pipe finish. Pipe is going to be a big thing here for the Dire. I mean, sure, mostly the carry are doing physical damage, but if you could just take away the damage that a Twin Head Dragon is doing, or Jakiro is doing in a team fight, that's already very, very good.
Yeah, Skullbasher picked up on the Lifestealer, which is what I didn't expect him to purchase. It's going to go, and if Klinks, I'm assuming, is going to go for a BKB. It's pretty typical. The Bash, of course, goes through that, and then it also just contributes to the lockdown domination that the Dire already kind of have going in their favor.
Yeah, maybe in the face of a Basher as well as a Purge that does go through BKB from Shadow Shaman, and finally Magnus's reverse polarity. Maybe just skip the BKB. It doesn't sound like a winning proposition, but there's just way too many counters even for a Black King Bar. You think it's a little bit better to go for the straight up glass cannon and just rely on your positioning here, or you just gotta do what you gotta do. You can get the BKB.
I mean, he has been pretty effective at staying out of the way in team fights and picking people off. I mean, Klinks is one of those heroes. Its positioning really is absolutely central to his game. Well, where he's going to go, he's got 3,400 gold, so he's going to get there pretty soon. Looks like Dire, in the meantime, are going to set up a sentry. We're going to go into the Roche pit. Ferrari taking it up in the front line, and Lifestealer, of course, doing a bunch of damage with his Feast. That just does a lot of damage to the high HP Roche, so...
I don't think Feast actually works against Roshan. It's more of a hero-based spell, although I need to double-check on that. One thing that he is benefiting is from the 50% empowering damage that Magnus is going to be giving to him. Of course, it does give him an innate crit, so it's going to be good against somewhat clumped-up heroes. But here we go. The Radiant team doesn't want to take this one without a fight, but really it's going to be difficult for them to charge into a pit like that. They do get the Roshan kill, and is this Lumina going to snipe off anybody? No, it's just some decent damage being done to Omni Knight.
If Lifestealer was a little slow, I think he would have died there. That would have been really funny, but unfortunately it's not the case. He's going to get some life back from the creep. So go rip his innards out, heal yourself. It's totally fine. That's normal. That's how the world works.
No big deal. No big deal. All right, let's quickly check out on the item here on Kunkka. He does have a Shadow Blade finish, but I feel like in this particular stage of the game, he really needs a Shadow Blade and something else. I don't exactly know what that's something else. Again, BKB is a very normal and good item to have, but not against this particular lineup here.
Yeah, I think he may want to go straight into crits. He may also want, I don't know, I don't think he's going to end up needing an MKB, because I don't think any of these heroes are going to build evasion-based items. I really feel like somebody needs to get a Purge Stick just to take care of this Omni Knight.
Sure.
Because, I mean, most of your damage is coming from physical sources, the Klinks, and that Guardian Angel is just going to be such a big problem. I'm surprised the Radiant aggression here, even after losing the Roshan to the Dire, they're still confident enough to just walk up mid lane and go straight into a high ground attempt.
I feel like they don't really have too much of a choice here. I mean, Undying's a hero that just tapers off because of the way that his skills work. Tombstone gets easily focused down much later in the game here. We do see a massive repel being dropped. Ward's being dropped very, very deep. Atari gotta be careful. Blink coming in. Where's the reverse? He's looking for one. He's only gonna grab one. This is time to actually turn around, fight. The boat's coming right now, giving Coco Rum table assault, tanking up in the front line here. Magpie doing insane amount of damage, but Wagwan losing HP a lot as well. He does have the Aegis Immortal. He is gonna focus down, trying to bring down just about everybody. He does bring down one with them. Kunkka's extremely low. He's going to respawn back, but the tower is still full HP here. Now he wants to go on blue. Blue is just nowhere to make out table assault. He's just right-clicking, but he actually does not do any damage. Nice bash coming in to get the kill here. And you're absolutely right. Why are they pushing against the Lifestealer with the Aegis? They banged their head against the brick wall, and the brick wall, well, it hurts pretty badly.
It's... I mean, in all honesty, they did really well that team fight. The boat hit everyone. And they killed 4 people. It was an even trade. Actually, they came out ahead, technically 3 for 4. Everyone except for the pure Dire once, and Lifestealer's only around because he had an Aegis.
And I think that's mostly off the mistake of Magnus only hitting a one-man reverse. I don't think they could count on something like that happening, especially when Blink Dagger's on him. So it's a good thing that they quote-unquote dodge a bullet in a sense. I guess Dire also dodged a bullet because of the Aegis and Lifestealer ending up working out fine, but both teams gotta really pick it up because this game at this point, even with Dire leading, could still be anybody's game.
Yeah, because Kunkka also survived that fight, and now looks like he's got a broadsword that's either crits or Battle Fury. Either one of those would be a good item at this point, increasing his AoE teamfight damage. Blade Mail? Blade Mail's another option against a Lifestealer. I'm pretty sure that the blade mail damage is pure and goes through rage.
No, I don't think. I think Magic Immune does block pure damage because BKB just lulls a blade mail all day long.
Yeah, I could be wrong there. I'm not gonna quote me on that.
In any case, it's not gonna be blade mail. I'm just trolling and making sure that we all remember what blade mail is built of. When's the last time you actually made blade mail?
Against a really freaking farmed assassin in some pub game.
Yeah, it's not exactly. I think that hero, that item actually needs a little bit of a buff. There's a Centaur being dropped down here that says Invis Ferrari, looking for a good skewer. Actually, if you get a kill against them dying, yeah, there we go. They see. Oh, they actually see him. And, well, that was a free kill. That escalated very, very quickly, and now the chase is going another other way. Nice ice path, but that will not stop that BKB clings. BKB, oh, nice silence here against the Shadow Demon, but Shadow Demon's on the run. Nice TP out from Icon as well. Good play, but the X finds him back. Did he repel in base? That cheeky bastard. He repelled and found. Nice play.
Brilliantly. Well, that's really well done. That's what's my favorite thing to do is to bring people back after they TP out. That's got to be so disappointing for NYN to not have that play work out. They are going to go straight ahead into another attempt at this tier 3 tower with Magnus dead for another 20 seconds. I think he can at least get a kill on the tower and maybe do some damage to the racks before he gets back. They've got 10 seconds and a lot of DPS. Here comes a boat. It's going to whiff everything. Never mind.
And got the racks. It's time to back the hell out because Magnus is back, and this is exactly what I talked about. Really, this game is still anyone's because a single mistake could really turn the tide around. Ferrari. Oh no, he misses a skewer as well. And really, the Radiant is just simply too fast, and they will get the hell out. Brawl, look at him though. He is waiting for support perhaps to come on the high ground and get a solo kill. He's invis. He sees. Twin-head dragon, my friend.
Not long for life. Oh, the jukes. The jukes.
She's trying there. Oh, nicely played. That naturally tankiness of the twin head. Oh! Unfortunately, there were no crits from Thrall. He would have went down very easily. But yeah, it seems like, you know, despite what we talked about, how having numerous spells that actually pierces through BKB, the BKB was extremely helpful for Klings in that last engagement. He was able to charge forward through the ice path and whatnot, and pick up a couple kills.
Yeah, I think it also blocks Omni Knight's damage as well as Shockwave damage. Oh, he's in trouble now though.
Yeah, there's a purge, and there's a dust right there, and now Lifestealer is trying to get in position, but you gotta keep on that skeleton walk. Does give you 44% movement speed. The heal bomb though pops a BKB just a tiny bit late, and a right click being or the kill being taken up here. Meanwhile, do you think the Dire team could actually transition and push? They're not exactly a team that's great at actually mowing down creep wave. I guess with Empower you're okay. But
yeah, Empower on the Lifestealer, Empower on the Magnus, and then some Shockwave casts. This is a ballsy play by the Shadow Shaman on the top lane. He was way deep in enemy territory warding, and he teleported out half of the second before Magnus came and skewered him out of it.
And gets his wards immediately denied. Yep.
It was all for nothing.
It really was all for nothing. He dropped out 175, down that vicinity. No big deal here. Quickly gonna check out how we're doing in terms of item. There's a mech being finished on Keeper. It's been finished for a long time. Pipe has been finished for a while as well. Crits as well as Shadow Blade here on Kunkka. Probably gonna upgrade that to Dayless with a one-shot build. But Tyre just simply utility with Arcane Boots and Drums, and of course we talked about BKB and Organ Cling. So pretty stacked items on the Radiant. I wouldn't say that this is a game-winning item set, but it's pretty good for this position they're winning right now. You gotta keep in mind they're so down by 5 kills, but they are up a rack, so they can't really have the pressure though. I think the Dire team still has better team fight as well as better late game.
Yeah, although you are seeing Lifestealer starting to get pretty stacked. He's got a Hyperstone up as well as 2,000 gold. So he's very close to his Mjolnir or Assaultress, whichever one he decides to go for in this particular game. And you just gotta say, like, I've always wondered what would happen if you could build Battle Fury on Lifestealer as a legitimate build. And now we have the answer to that question, not from a Battle Fury, but from Magnus's Empower. Because it's basically the same thing, right? Except with bonus 50% damage and for an extra 50% more rape.
I mean, bonus 50% damage also roughly translates to the extra plus 60 that you get from the Battle Fury. And let's see, it'll be put to the test as they're trying to defend second lane of racks. If you guys can't remember, Magnus got picked off early. Magnus is really kind of the X factor in this for them. It's make or break for him. And to be honest, we repel on you. He could easily jump out and skewer back in. If he missed, no big deal. Just try it and when it cools down. They have a lot of time here defending this.
Yeah, definitely. These supports have to be so careful about their positioning. This Shadow Shaman is being very dangerous there because Magnus's initiation range is just so big.
The Tyre standing in the front line here as if he's playing dying himself. Meanwhile, done dying though. is sending someone forward. He's the one that I actually don't mind being pushed in because of the Vanguard, because of the pipe of the inside. But we might see some Nyx bomb because I did hear the Infest. And where is the Magnus? Magnus, oh, he just went right in for the fight. He was completely out of mana. They see Patire. Patire is going to get broken down. But look at the damage output of Frau. Just pick off Magnus instantly. The bolt comes in right now. That's going to make everybody tank your table. So no spell being dropped. He does have the ultimate as well as the Tombstone. Healing everybody up. And it seems like this team fight is on being won by the Radiant so far. Table, so chasing away Icon. I did not see Guardian Angel. Meanwhile, Kalo, Zombie is on him. Where is the Nyx in the middle? Nyx is just not right-clicking. He's trying to survive, but there's an army of Zombie. Blink reverse, and we got a live stream. Everybody back. There's a follow-up here from the Twin-Hit Dragon. Can he actually get the team wipe? It's insane amount of damage, and they somehow won this. He's coming back. Crit! There's one big crit kill here. He's on the run here, out of mana completely, but that has 4 charges on the bottle. He's bottling back up here. Unfortunately, Liquid Fire cancel the healing. Man, that team fight was all over the place. I think that favored the Radiant overall, though.
I'm not entirely sure. The Clinks did go down in that fight, and Lifestealer got, what, a triple kill? So he's sitting at 12-4. He's got 3,200 gold in the bank, so he's got to finish next big tier 4 item, which is going to make it even harder for this Radiant team to push in the future. And moreover, I really have to say that, oh no, Clinks, you're being...
There was a Sentry Ward that just timed out in the mid lane, so you probably saw that one coming. So, quick reaction. On the flip side, though, Kunga got a couple kills at the end. I do believe Magnus jumped in first, and he died, and he bought back. So, again, both teams, again, kind of trading out a lot of resource in that way. But again, I think that overall does still favor Ferrari and his team because, well, the Dire defended the Rax push, and really the Radiant team just want to finish out the game, right? Do you agree with me that the Dire has better late game, or that's just me?
Yeah, I think it's true because when you're thinking about late game, you gotta think beyond just how much damage your carry can do. You also have to think about how much late game carries, how much team lockdown you have carrying over into the late game. Like, this is why Enigma is a much better late game support than Tidehunter, because his black hole is still useful in the late game after people get BKBs, and that's why I think Magnus is going to do a lot more for his team in the late game than Kunkka is with his boat, because as with Nyx, with Rage, huge reverse polarity into the Roche pit.
But there's a bow as well, and they're trying to survive this Frau. BKB up, but he's being hit, he's being bashed, he's trying to survive. Tombstone gets dropped, but Tombstone is just not doesn't do enough. No defensive disruption, no offensive disruption, excuse me here. Saul is in trouble as well, and you can see the late game power of that Lifestealer. He is just going to town. Out the wards of the Serpent Ward's the only thing left standing, but that's not going to be left standing for long. And very, very conveniently, they're right outside of the Roshan pit, so that one Rax advantage that Radiant have, it's not really even an advantage, I feel like.
Yeah, the Dire at this point they definitely have the killing ability to push against a downed lane of Rax with the Empower buff, giving them cleave on 3 of their 5 heroes. So, I mean, there's really not that much of a difficulty at all. Now they've got an Aegis up on their Lifestealer who is hard enough to kill in the first place, just with his insane amounts of lifesteal and his lockdown. And now he's got an AC with extra armor and 2,300 gold in the bank. So he's going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I mean, generally when you play against a Lifestealer, most teams elect to, out-kite him. At the end of the day, he is a melee hero. So things like multiple Force Staff, multiple Yule Scepter, and as he's trying to run around, you kind of, slowly whittle his way, his HP. The Radiant has been taking a much more interesting approach in terms of bursting him down, or in terms of killing him, which is trying to burst him down. They're using things like the Splash Challenge from Kunkka, the bolts, and I think that kind of way to play works to a certain extent, until the point where Lifestealer gets way too tanky for that to happen, and then you actually lack the way to run from him because you don't have the Force Staff or the Yule Scepter. So I think we are starting to become going into a period of trouble for the Radiant, as they just can't do too much about this Lifestealer. There's just no way to actually kill him in between Rage, Repel, and Guardian Angel.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rely on Kunkka getting a crit and Klink's right-clicking him down. But, I mean, I think if Shadow Shaman went for a drum, I think if that was a Force Staff, they would be a little bit better off.
Sure.
And your Keeper of the Light has Boots of Travel, which are nice, and allow him to push as well as bring someone else with him anywhere on the map. But I still think a Force Staff is necessary. He is going for a Vlad's, so that will help out to an extent.
to a tiny bit. Oh no, Kunkka pops out and he does have buyback.
Immediate buyback here. And so this is the tier 2 defense. I think it is important for them to defend this tier 2 because it gives them a little bit of map control and jungle control as well.
Kunkka throwing his life out there for no reason really did not help out. Here we go. We're gonna see a little bit of Nyx bomb here as Ferrari is invested into. He's gonna right click this tower right now. I'm pretty sure that the Barney face knows what's up as well. The Kunkka boat does have a fairly short cooldown. He whiffs that one completely as well. And I think with that one down, they basically have free reign over this tower. I don't really think the Radiant team will even fight this. Their pipe has been popped early, and it's gonna wear down as well.
It's not looking good for the Dire pushing effort right now. Although the Radiant, I'm sorry, it's not looking good for the Radiant defense effort right now. Dire don't have any reason to back off. They've got the regen, they've got the damage, they've got the team fight spells. And
looks like he's gonna get initiated upon reverse polarity. I think they only grabbed one, but here comes a Guardian Angel that's gonna make the entire team immune to that clings. Table Saw still running back and forth, but no damage being done. Frog gets picked down here, and they've lost way too much. His Tombstone gotta get focused though, and the horses plus his Tombstone, it's enough damage at least for now to drive everybody back. Still no focus. Nyx finally turns around and get a kill so very easily. Table Saw still surviving, finally gets bashed down, but the horses, yet another one, insane amount of damage output. Age is finally being drained. Those forts not getting focused either. Between the wards and Tombstone, they have just done way too much. There's a shackle, there's oh, skewer backwards on everybody. Shockwave, right click. Well, you asked about the Battle Fury and 50% more rape. That's right there.
That was an insane team fight on every single level. Kunkka died, had already bought back because he was caught out right before the fight started. Tier 2's gonna go down, and I'm pretty sure this is a Rax for the Dire side because I don't think any of the Radiant have buyback at this point. No one does. There's no buyback.
Yeah, and I mean, even if a single person buys back, they really can't defend against this. Liquefier really aiding in terms of push. Econ, of course, helping out in terms of regen and whatnot. And here we go. Tower is going to go down. I think this is actually 2 lanes of Rax if they really want to push for it. But although the boat is going to come in right now, Kunkka trying to be a hero, but again, not against 3 heroes.
Yeah. I mean, if he got a lucky splash off of the creep, he probably at this point could one-shot a lot of people. He's gonna, looks like, no, just too much burst damage, and then this Nags just way too much, too strong. Just beating down this Kunkka, even though Kunkka got very close to killing the Jakiro.
Yeah, I mean, as awkward as item suggestion might sound, guys, I would just want to go back to your previous point of having a diffusal blade on the team. I mean, it's so vital because once that Guardian Angel's up, your Kling's actually kind of stand there and twiddle his thumbs because there's nothing he can do. But having diffusal, I don't know who would get the diffusal blade. I might even, go and say that maybe Klings could get it. Obviously, it doesn't have a exactly favorable interaction with your Fire Arrow, but a purge is a purge. You really need it against Omni Knight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and this is coming back to the beginning of the picks where we were talking about how the Radiant really wanted a Shadow Demon. Because that demonic purge would have done it right there.
Sure, yeah. Of course, and obviously it also sets up your Kunkka and whatnot. So right now this game's a lot more even in terms of structure. But if you look at the score here, 15 kill lead here for the Dire, and the gold is really in the favor of them as well. 25,000 experience. I've not seen such a big XP. I'm sure the inventory is reflecting that as well. So Curious has been up on Wagwan. And that Basher's been actually doing a lot of work, a lot more work than I imagined would have done. Normally, you don't see Basher until much later, when he could have natural attack speed to take advantage of. But hey, he's really with the AC just carrying hard.
Yeah. Also, I like the Veil pickup on the Twin-Headed Dragon, as well as the Hood and Pipe now on Omni Knight is also a very good pickup. So it's going to completely counter Keeper of the Light damage, and it's also going to increase Jakiro's damage and the damage that isn't the is the power cleave magic damage or physical?
It's physical, and it will ignore armor. So that's actually the only one way to actually go through Guardian Angel. So that's
50% of your damage.
Yeah, not something you could actually count on though.
Well, especially since it's on the same team as the Guardian Angel.
No, I'm saying Kunkka splash damage with Tidebringer.
Oh, okay. I was talking about Magnus's Empower.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Whether that's physical or magical damage, I don't remember. I'll have to look it up later.
It's just physical. It just makes you do more damage.
Yeah, the Dota tool doesn't tell me that. He does have a gem though, and he has been dewarding pretty successfully as a melee hero. So.
And when you have, I guess, 2 quasi-lead, 2 blink, you know, pretty decent. And then now Lifestealer is just chilling with 350 damage, especially when you are bashing every other hit and you have the Abyssal Blade and Assault Curious. He is as stacked as you can be, and they're slowly sieging, working towards bot. Meanwhile, Klink's trying to push up top. He really needs an item, and I think with the gold amount that he has right now, he could probably pick up crits for the next fight if he's, you know, bringing down one more wave. No, he's gonna just port back.
I think crits probably are the best thing for him right now. It would give him a lot in terms of just bringing down this Lifestealer quickly. The burst physical DPS is probably the second best way to counter a Lifestealer. The first one obviously being that kiting that you were talking about earlier. And so, I mean, I don't know, Klinks is going to stay pushing top now that the the Dire seem to have committed bottom. If Klinks can backdoor a tier 3 tower here, that would be huge, actually.
Yeah, or at the very least force a TP back. I mean, either way, it's going to be fine here. Keeper of Life's doing as much as he can to really slow down this push. If you look at the net worth, man, Lifestealer is just miles and miles ahead. You can see that Klinks, he really needs to go in the jungle and start eating a big creep and start TPing back. Tower going to get siege upon pipe a little bit early here, but Skira backward here against Kunkka. Kunkka in between everybody. Does he have the buyback this time? Even Wagwan goes in, just 2 hits somebody. Table Salt's going to get 3 hit himself, and that's got to be it. Klink's not even here. Klink's probably going to go for a Rax trade, but again, does he even do enough damage? We do see, it looks like a buyback teleportation coming in from Keeper of Light. Do they want to backdoor and go for the win? And go for the throne? Gotta port somebody back in. Kunkka buys back. Is he going to get ported? Are we seeing a base race? Yes, a base race finish. And actually the Radiant might win this. Kunkka drops off a bolt. Still no teleport of anybody. Keeper, like, do your job, man. Send somebody in. This is going to draw multiple TPs. Here comes the Ice Path. Here comes the Veil of Discord. Oh, just actually right clicks, and looks like Twina Dragon being forced back. Kingdom take over as I'm fucking dying over here.
Oh man, so we're gonna see that this Klink's Lifestealer in the meantime back in the Radiant base has picked up the Kunkka once again, and now he's got free reign to just go and do work on this last mid-rax with the Magnus, who is still there with him. Shadow Shaman is the only Radiant hero left alive in his base, and up here at the top Dire base, Klink's picks up Jakiro. Jakiro immediately buys back. Frau is trying to pick off the Shadow Demon, but Shadow Demon has a ghost set there, is able to get away. And now this Lifestealer is going to work on the last tier 4 tower in the Radiant base. That one's going to fall very quickly. Now the Dire are going to work on the throne. Lifestealer is low, but that doesn't matter. He's going to get all his health back as he kills Table Salt at the end. And now all of the Radiant heroes who were pushing in the Dire base are now dead. Frau is TP'd back. If he's lucky, he'll be able to pick off Lifestealer really quickly, but no, Lifestealer just lifestealing too much health. He's staying alive, takes it, but falls in the end to the Orchid damage. Magnus is one of the only heroes left on the map now, beating on this throne by himself as the Radiant desperately try a couple last attempts to defend this throne, but it looks like it might be over.
Man, multiple buyback being used. I don't want to call it over until it's over. Remember, Keeper of Light could still go for something backdoor. I don't know why he didn't teleport anybody in, although there was a big amount of difference between HP and what their damage output is. I mean, if they got Kunkka in, it could have at least gotten a little bit interesting, or maybe Shadow Shaman, if he was able to drop his wards in the base. That would have been a big factor as well. The game, though, really out of reach in terms of a heads-up fight for, you know, Barney face. I forgot the team name for a bit, and I looked at their flag, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Barney face. But unfortunately, I think the next push is gonna really do it, as the Art of War is really milking this one, taking the Roshan as well.
Yeah, picking up Roshan and making absolute certain that the next time they go into the base, it's going to be over. They've got their Aegis on that Lifestealer, and he's almost completely unable to be taken down. He's got 6,000 gold, so he's probably just gonna wander leisurely up to the secret shop, buy himself a heart as if it like didn't even matter, and just go ahead and start pushing whenever he feels good and ready. They are doing the best that they can to defend. They've got sentry wards at the entrances to their base to prevent a smoke attempt, as do the Dire. So both teams are down to 2 sets of racks. So I guess in that sense it's relatively even. The major thing making this such a lopsided game in favor of the Dire is that Lifestealer, who's got double the net worth that
Klink says. Yeah, it's not even close. I'm very, very surprised to see that Nova even trying to do anything about it. Klink is on a mission right now. Now he's just going out of the base and keep on farming. He still has not added a single item to it, but seems like he has grabbed the creep and continue to wind walk away. Again, keep in mind if the top creep wave is pushed, Keeper of the Light could TP up there and as well as call somebody back with his recall ability. And there's a long, long way between the Dire and the enemy base. Also, the Radiant does have their glyph available. The Dire does not. Klings is taking his sweet time. He's not sure whether he's being seen or not. You really can't just charge in like that, not knowing whether they have Sentry or not. I do believe there's a gem on Magnus. Yes, there is. And there's a Refresher Ore up on him as well. He does see the team coming. So they're biding out all sorts of time. I actually don't know whether this game is won by the Art of Warfare. Like, in all seriousness, if you look at the goal chart and experience chart, they should have won this game, but throwing so up.
Yeah, that's the way it always is. Game keeps going until the throne explodes, and really, especially judging by what was in the guest tournament this morning, there was a massive comeback from MUFC, right?
Don't spoil anything for the viewers that have not seen any games yet. So
I'm sorry. I didn't say anything.
You didn't say which game or which match.
I didn't say which game.
Yeah. So. All right.
I heard something from a little bird.
Yeah. That little bird might be lying as well, so don't trust. We do see the Dire actually taking a very cautious push down on the top lane as well. Again, don't want any shenanigan backdoors. He's going to run into a couple of guys here. Frau cannot get picked off a Blink Dagger trying to find him. I think Frau, all he needs to do is pop into the enemy base, show his face, right-click the drone a couple of times, and then draw TP and back off. Like, there's a lot of ways for them to actually draw this game.
Yeah, they really do need... I don't know. See, the problem is that they've got 2 racks down right now. And so they're not capable of getting the farm they need to really come back into this game with a full foot in. They're really going to have to resort to shenanigans to pull this off, and especially since there's still a single tier 4 tower standing in the Dire base. If all the tier 4 towers down, I think it would be a lot more even.
Yeah, but it seems like Thrall is not actually thinking of doing that. He's just working on the mid creeps a bit, which will not slow down here on the Art of War pipe pop. And here we go, Mech even being used as well. There's a Torn bringing him down up, and of course, Guardian Angel being used very early as well. They just want to really overpower this. Here comes the boat just for a kind of a stun and really slowing them down. Big Crit actually doing some type of damage. You can see Thrall on the minimap going straight in for the win. The question is, will he do enough? Where's the TP from the Keeper? Is he going to go in as well? There's really no chance to really defend this. Another huge Illuminate. There's a Shadow Shaman being picked down. What is Thrall doing? Well, he's going back and forth. There's a buyback here from multiple guys. You can see that Blue is now going to be recalling, but Nick's already on top of your Raxes. Man, this game could have been a lot closer than it really would have been, but the Art of War takes this. 55 to 32.
The GG is called as the throne explodes, and it's just way too farmed at the end there. I mean, I think that's really where it came from. They weren't able to shut him down and kite him enough in the team fights like we were talking about earlier, and he's just 27, 5, and 20 on Nyx. I think that's really the main story of this game.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to come back. What, 27, 520, like you said, 290 creep kills, and let's not forget about the 50% cleave damage, or 50% empowering plus damage. That's really, really insane as well. But pretty decent game. Any final words on how you felt how this game played out?
I'm really excited for Art of Warfare and how they played and how they kept going through it in the mid game, where for a while there they were looking to be in pretty scary straits while the Radiant was pushing, got the first racks.
Sure, yeah.
So definitely played through it pretty well. I liked how both teams handled themselves and both teams played pretty well. I was really excited watching the game, and so I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some misspells here and there, and to be honest, I personally felt the Art of Warfare was pretty much in control from the start to the finish. I mean, the reverse polarities early on just put them way far ahead, and the only time they actually lost the racks was, remember, when the Magnus player got picked off while being invisible. Not exactly something you could count on, but that's what happened. So, and they lost the racks because of that. But they play out of it. Again, it got very dangerous at the end with a big base trade and whatever. But it was, yeah, very tight, very close game. Good to be casting this one. Of course, my co-caster his name is Kingdom. You can definitely check him out on his YouTube channel. I'll include his link in the description box. And that's gonna do it for this particular game. Last shout outs, Kingdom, before we sign this one up.
Yeah, shout out to Icon from Hardware who got us this replay, and then also the game 1 and 2 from this series will be hosted to my channel once I finish them up. So.
All right. So if you want to see more about these two teams, and again, if you want to watch more games about, I guess, more lower level, non-pro level plays, well, Kingdom does have a lot of those broadcasts, and this tournament is actually worth a lot of money, right? The first place, 17.
It's 1,700 total prize pool, first 1,000. So, and also the chance to play against Dignitas, because right now it looks like they're going to steamroll through the other side of the bracket to that finals.
Well, so. All right. So for more information, check out Kingdom's YouTube channel, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast, and then, as always, this is Luminous and Kingdom, and we are signing off to you guys.